Okay, here's an interesting little paper that you need to see. Here's the date. November 23rd, 1998. This is where I have enclosed papers on my father's homicide, 23rd day of October, 1971. I would like to see the papers on the investigation that was done on his case. I was told by the police department that you, Chief Douglas Hamilton, are the one that releases the investigation, that it is in the archives. Please get in contact with me. Sincerely, Larry Kaufman. But evidently that's not what went on. Mr. Kaufman, this occurred in Jefferson County, out of the city, Louisville limits. We do not have the file. Send another letter to Chief Ron Muskowski or something like that, Jefferson County Police Department, 768 Barrett Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky. Anyway, I sent a letter, and that's when I found these documents, got all these paperwork, court case, police records. Police records was all there. They did a good job, I thought, as far as I'm concerned, as far as paperwork. But anyway, here's something that we need to talk about. R. David Stinkleton, Commonwealth Attorney's Office, August 8, 2001. Well, once I found all this paperwork, got all these records together, I wanted to know why we can't reinstate my brother's case. There we go. Larry Kaufman, 1325 East Main Street. Commonwealth versus Stephen Ray Thompson. Indictment 147037, Jefferson County. I'm going to read it to you. Dear Mr. Kaufman, I am writing to advise you that I am not going to seek a re-indictment on Stephen Ray Thompson for these charges. This decision is based on my discussion with you, my review of the police reports and court records which you provided. In other words, I provided the Commonwealth Attorney's Office these records because they did not know nothing about it. To me, the discussion with other prosecutors in our office, it is further based on my evaluations of what I believe a jury and a judge and a jury will do in relationships to this proof. I believe that it is possible to present testimony about the fight among the defendants and his friends and your father and brother. I believe that we might even be able to get around the absence of your brother as a witness due to his mental difficulties. Now, if he believes that, why didn't they believe that back in 1972? And could have got around his case then, couldn't he? They just blow me away sometimes. However, I doubt that either a judge or a jury will accept our reasons for a 28-year delay in seeking to have these charges reinstated. Well, if the circuit clerk's office over there would have had an index card on this case, and we go down there in the 70s, and we could have got the index card and showed that the paperwork was over in the archives, we wouldn't be here 28 years later. We would have took care of it then. But evidently that department didn't take care of the business. But there's more to it than just that, I believe. From a legal standpoint, I suspect that the defendant will have an excellent opportunity to argue that the nearly 3-decade delay is pursuing these charges among a violation of his right to a speedy trial. I further believe that there is an excellent argument that this case was settled. How was it settled when it was filed away with leave to reinstate? He says it was settled. Now, ain't that something? As a compromise between the prosecution and the defense in 1972. To allow this prosecution to back out of that settlement at this late date would be fundamentally unfair. Well, I guess that would be fundamentally unfair to them, because evidently it's not fundamentally unfair to us the way they act. My brother's been in the mental hospital off and on ever since, and I guess they feel like that's nothing unfair. I mean, I don't know. But beyond those legal reasons, a jury is going to have a hard time understanding the delay of much time for the family to now seek justice, and it will be hard for the juries to understand why the family of Eugene Kaufman Jr. is now seeking to get his day in court after let's see if I can make this come in a little better. After 29 years, they will want to know why this request for reinstatement wasn't made right away, or while the defendant was still on probation, or even during the 1970s. Well, we went down there in the 1970s. They told us that the case was filed away. Not filed away, but it was did not exist, or a fire or flood destroyed it. But anyway, I suppose that there were two distant versions of what happened that day. The Kaufman's version of the facts and the defendant's version of the facts. I'm sure it is too. There's two different stories. The settlement was an attempt to resolve the difference and attempt to put this tragic event to rest. Settlement that I never knew nothing about. I hope that you and your family will one day be able to do that for your long-term health and happiness. I am sorry that we will not be able to assist you in doing this. Sincerely, John Bailey, Assistant Commonwealth Attorney's Office. So in other words, he's telling us he won't open this case up because it's been a 28-year delay. So they can hide the papers. They can just throw us off for 28 years. Tell us stories that the case don't even exist, which we already knew the case exists. We had a dead father and had a messed up brother, but we couldn't get the paperwork, so there's nothing we could do. So they had the upper hand on us. So now that's been all this time, they're saying there's nothing we can do. They can hide it all this time, and now they can say they can't do nothing. It's like they think it's a King Tut case or something, and there's nothing they can do about it. So there's my evidence. There's the letter. I didn't agree with it. I think it was crazy that they say this stuff to us. But I'm showing my evidence. This is their reasons. I got my reasons. And I got more information. And I got more evidence. And I want to